This is for the folks that don't read the articles.
Like it or not, there are few things as instantly American as Hugh Hefner's Playboy magazine. So to look back through the last 40 years in his new book is a trip through our culture.
The first playmate inside the magazine is Marilyn Monroe, the nude, the world-famous nude, where she commented with good humor that all she had on was the radio.
Coming up next on Queens.
There's a new coffee table book, the Playboy book, which is the complete pictorial history of Playboy.
That's right.
Maybe a coffee table book in some houses, but on a very high shelf at my house. So tell us about this book and what kinds of trends or things you see over 40 years of Playboy.
Well, basically, the book is broken down into decades, starting in the 50s and all the way up to the 90s.
You know, if I weren't on television, I wouldn't have a catch in my throat right now. It's awful. It's right here. Hi, folks. I'm Tom. This is the Colorcast for Thursday night. It's the 28th of July, 1994, up and running now from Los Angeles, California. To be more precise, from Burbank, and we have but one guest on this program tonight. He is the founder and chairman emeritus of Playboy magazine, and it has been far too long since he has been before TV cameras for an extended interview. He's our only guest tonight, and I speak, of course, of Mr. Hugh Hefner.
Then Hugh Hefner takes you behind the doors of the Playboy Mansion. Paulie Phillips, Dateline next.
He built an empire selling sacks and centerfolds.
From NBC Studios in New York, it's Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Tonight from Saturday Night Live, Ellen Cleghorn. Playmate of the Year, Jenny McCarthy.
Hello there.
How you doing?
All right, I'm doing fine.
Before we start, I have to give you a present.
Oh, really?
This is from Hugh Hefner himself, the head honcho, my boss. And it's the new book that's out, the Playboy book, 40 years. It's the complete pictorial history on bookstands now.
You'll hear more about Demi Moore and a whole host of other stars from our guest today. Sandy Steele is a Beverly Hills insider who has gained some remarkable insights into the lives of some of the most famous and exciting people in the world, including Demi Moore and a whole bunch of others. Please welcome the author of the official celebrity registry, Sandy Steele.
On Monday.
Oh, we're back.
Welcome back to AM Northwest. We're live aboard the ship, the Spirit of Portland. Have you ever wondered about stars, their real names, when they were really born, where they were really born? Well, our next guest knows all that. In fact, she's put together several books with just that kind of information. One is the Official Celebrity Register, 1993, 1994. Real current information about all the stars you'd like to know about. And the other is the Official Sports Register, Celebrity Registry for Sports. We welcome on board Sandy Steele.
Monday on CBS This Morning.
It is 10 minutes before the hour, and that is trivia time, Elvis trivia time. Did you know the King copied his hairstyle from Tony Curtis? That his favorite singer was Tom Jones. Or long before Michael, Elvis lived with a chimp at Graceland. The Elvis Encyclopedia, the complete and definitive reference book on the King of rock and roll by his stepbrother David Stanley, is filled with lots more facts as well as photos you've never seen before. David's with us this morning. Good morning, David.
You know I can't be found, sit home all alone. If you can't come around, at least please telephone. Don't be cruel to who heart is true.
Now I'd say David Stanley is here this morning. And let's shake hands again. Okay, good morning.
Why do pop stars lead such crazy lives? An interesting question. Just look at Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson.
Now Stanley has compiled his memories of life with the Presleys in the Elvis Encyclopedia, a day-by-day account of Elvis's life from a brother's perspective.
"17 years after his death, fans of King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley will have a whole lot of shaking going on this month with a new pay-per-view TV special and the release of an illustrated book honoring the most phenomenal performer of the 20th century.
I never looked at Elvis as a rock and roll star. He was just a guy who said, hey, you're my little brother. Welcome to the family.
The stepbrother to Elvis Presley, now author David Stanley. Ladies and gentlemen, Laurie Ann Crook and Charlie Chase.
It's called the Elvis Encyclopedia, and it is being touted as the first complete and definitive reference book on the king of rock and roll. Please welcome the author, David Stanley.
Plus a new book that spells out the king of rock and roll from A to Z.
It's the most complete work, the Elvis Encyclopedia, from every aspect of Elvis's life.
But up next, a new book by the king's stepbrother includes some unusual insight.
Elvis Presley has been the subject of countless biographies. But now there's a new book out that is touted as the definitive reference on the king. It's called the Elvis Encyclopedia.
Okay, and taking us behind the scene is David Stanley, Elvis's stepbrother and biographer of the Elvis Encyclopedia.
Next, Sally.
I would like to thank all of our guests, especially Elvis Presley's stepbrother, David Stanley, who is the author of the Elvis Encyclopedia.
Welcome to Larry King Live. Tonight, featuring guest host Dennis Miller. The life of Elvis, according to his stepbrother, David Stanley, who's compiled a definitive womb-to-tomb timeline for the king of rock and roll.
Here are some other new books, albums, and videos worth watching.
Early, middle 80s.
Find out what country cooks concoct in the kitchen. The Country Music Cookbook, written by Dick and Sandy St. John, dishes out a mouthful of recipes from more than 100 stars.
This Country Music Cookbook, we've been looking at this before the show started this evening. It's written by Dick and Sandy St. John. They're the authors of the well-known Rock and Roll Cookbook, and now they've whipped up yet another cookbook for a cause. In fact, the Country Music Cookbook, when sold, gives country music's biggest stars a tasteful way to help their peers.
Right now, Chet Atkins is out on the road strumming the praises of one guitar company that he's been a believer in for years. And he's telling everyone why all of America should say happy birthday to the 100-year-old Gibson Guitar Company.
For 100 years, the Gibson guitar has been part of the popular music scene. And now the history of the company has been compiled in this book. Its author explains Gibson was much more than just a guitar company.
I'm Kurt Loder with MTV News. Slash and his trusty Les Paul are also featured in a new $40 coffee table book marking the 100th anniversary of the Gibson Guitar Company.
And I was privileged to pose with a young AIDS patient. Many celebrities stood with friends, family, and other children for Portraits of Life with Love. Proceeds from the sale of this book benefit children living with HIV and AIDS. Photographer Joan Lawrence says the stars wanted to help out.
It's been a long task in scheduling, but it's been a very easy task when they understand what it is that we're doing. They're there.
Portraits of Life with Love will be in bookstores this weekend.
If you'd like some words to go along with those pictures, here are some suggestions in this week's On the Shelf.
It's in the form of a coffee table book, but transcends it into a whole nother awareness where families can sit together, look through this book, and easily talk about AIDS with their children. It's not something where there's fear involved. It's done with love. And they could look at the photographs with these celebrities in a whole new light than celebrities have ever been shown before.
It began as an expression of love, but today a collection of photo portraits has become an expression of hope. Gail Anderson has a story of a photographer using her camera to battle the stigma of AIDS.
Photographer Joan Lauren is overwhelmed by the generous participation of celebrities and associates to her Portraits of Life with Love.